journalists and government critics in the country. Joining us on We the People, Meghna Des, author and journalist, Farhan Naqvi, writer and activist, Ashutosh, senior journalist, a political analyst, Gurmeher Kaur, author and activist, and we'll have PKD Nambiar, political analyst who supports the BJP. We also have actor Ketaki Chitale, who was arrested for allegedly making a derogatory post against the NCP chief Sharad Pawar. Chitale was arrested on the 15th of May. She spent over 30 days in jail before she was granted bail. Some 15 cases at least have been filed against the actor. Worrying. PKD Nambiar, this is confounding. Is it, different strokes for different folks? How is it, what is the logic that you have a 4-year-old tweet of Zubair's can hamper communal harmony, but Yati Narsinganand's inflammatory speeches made just months ago, they don't? That you can have Nupur Sharma roaming freely despite her comments, but, a fact checker arrested because of a tweet from 4 years ago. PKD Nambiar, does this show an indiscriminate use of the government's wings and departments against political opponents, dissenters, and selective government machinery that is meant to serve the people, not to wage a war against the people based on petty issues? Because otherwise it should be the same treatment for all.
Sarah, I'm first and foremost, I am a free speech absolutist, and I think there is nothing, there is no ifs and buts about it. It's all about that if a person should be free in a democratic country like us, should be able to speak his mind loud and clear.
But I'm sorry, if it turns hateful or incites violence, then yes, there's a line between a hate speech and free speech. But I don't, go ahead, I've understood you're a proponent of free speech.
May I,
yes,
I'll tell you
ahead.
that, so I'm absolutely saying that my statement was something like this: if he is speaking the truth. So the hate and free speech has nothing to do with each other. So like if I abuse you, then it is a different story. So that is something like, that is the reason we have a court of law, there are judicial system and etc. But I am here for free speech. But you need to understand, in the first constitutional amendment in this country has done for free speech. Nobody other than our first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, was the then Prime Minister. In 1951, the Article 19 was the first, free speech was the first one which was amended in the Constitution. So there is some, it's basically to bring restrictions on the free speech. But then there are elements of, now we are talking about Nupur Sharma, and she has got a different kind of application of law on her. Zubair is treated differently. I think here is the hypocrisy of our thought process. In your own television channel or in multiple channels where I was present, and I am sure that one of the show even Ashutosh ji was present, there are Islamic scholars even today saying that what Nupur Sharma said was not wrong. So that is not something like you and me can speak today, because it's a matter of sub judice. Let the court decide. With regard to Mr. Zubair's case, so it is not one incident or a two incident. And if it's a well-known fact that more than 28 across the social media, it's roaming around that it's more than 28 tweets which he deleted himself from his own account, and many of those tweets were mocking
Mr. Nambiar, there may be many cases, but the police has acted against him based on this one case. So we cannot talk about many cases. There may be many cases against me, but what have you charged me with? My question to you simply is not this. I'm not talking about whether there were apologists for Islam on any TV channels. Should the law be the same for all? Or does it change depending on if you are a spokesperson for the BJP, or if you're a dissenter, or a journalist, or a human rights activist?
I think you said it actually. I think there is the law applicable to every place. So you also need to understand most of this law and order, even Ashutosh was talking about that the states are responsible for their law and order and even booking all these kind of people. In this country is completely not ruled by BJP. There are many South Indian states, for an example, in Telangana, I can list out the names. Even the so-called left parties in the state of Kerala, they have booked so many people, including a former MLA just 2 days ago. So I think let's not be selective. Look at if you
all
wanted
right,
to
let's
have
not
a
be
proper
selective.
discussion.
I think you're right. I think there's a good point to bring in Ketaki Chitale. Unfortunately, this is happening across the board, but mostly in in the case of this government. Also, to be fair, they have more states, so maybe it's happening in all states, and more states come is being targeted because he's a fact checker.
Yes.
PKD Nambiar, lastly, just closing up, this, as Gurmeher has pointed out, it's targeted, it's organized. The whole might of the state seems to, come tumbling down on you if you are pointing out facts, if you're a journalist, even if you dissent. PKD Nambiar, when political and ideological fights take the form of the citizen against the state, that is extremely worrying in a country like ours. Closing argument, please, on this.
Well, I think this show is a very, very the right way of conducting a show on free speech. You had this young girl, Chitkale, who spent her 30 days in the jail just putting up a post. But do you know that even when she was arrested, she was in the jail, there was no prime time shows on her. Nobody.
She's on prime time right now. She hasn't magically shown up, Mr. Nambiar. We have invited her because we believe she has. Surely. This is ridiculous. She's on a prime time show.
Zara, in your shows, my free speech is always been violated. So, if you give me my free speech time,
I cannot allow you to make a comment like this, which is absolutely no fact.
When you say that, it's only not about
How
you.
Can she
you are
not
not the NDTV is not the world, Zara. There are thousands of media houses. I am only saying that her cause was not being taken up by the media in general, the way it has been discussed, the way people are putting up prime time shows for Zubair. I am only saying the hypocrisy of the pseudo-secular forces, including the media, some of the media friends, that they don't see both the side of the mirror. So that is where the main problem is. When then it comes to the last point, because you asked for a closing comment, the closing comment is this: in the Supreme Court once said, each case will depend on the facts of that each case. So there cannot, applications of the law will depend on the fact of each case. So there is no way you can parallel to one case to another, one state to another state. That is what the Supreme Court.
All right. All right. Thank you. All right. We are completely out of time, but I think every day it really asks us all to question what the essential contents are of free speech as a right in a civilized, in a constitutional democracy, and what the reasonable limitations should be attached to that. Thank you all for joining us tonight on We the People. Bye-bye.